Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer and welcome to Best Kept Plans. Today's video is going to be a monthly budget recap for November 2022. If you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. Okay, so for this recap, we're going to start out in the monthly spread for November 2022. Nothing too wild in the month of November. I did have my Disney Plus subscription due on the 17th. I pay that annually, and I wrote it in my calendar in orange to indicate that I was going to pull from a sinking fund for it. Of course, I paid all of my bills. We did have a bunch of stuff happening in yellow with regards to different savings challenges. I did use some cash from some other sinking funds, so you will see that, but again, nothing too out of the ordinary. So for this video, we're going to start out with the debt payment plan. Now, this is a newer sheet for me. I just started using this year. Prior to that, I hadn't been using it because the only debt that I had before June 2022 was my student loans, and they have been on hold the last couple of years. So when I purchased a new vehicle in June 2022, I knew that I was going to start using this debt payment plan. I'm not going to lie, I have not really gotten the hang of this sheet yet. I'm trying. I'm kind of failing, but that's okay. I'm not going to give up. I do still have the intention of using this in 2023. I think it's just going to take a little bit of time for me to figure it out. Part of the reason why is because I kind of keep toying back and forth with, I should be putting my student loan here, but I'm not actually paying on it, but my work is actually paying on it for me, and how does that factor into my budget? It's a little bit confusing. I think that until I have to start making payments on my student loan, you'll see it up here, but you won't see a payment. I'm not going to include the payments that my work is making because I don't want it to mess with my inflow, but I have to remember that down below when we do a lot of the different analytic things when it comes to debt, that I have to include all of my debt balances. That's kind of where I messed up this month. So I only put Sikorsky down here. The balance I actually forgot to put, but it's down below. Interest rate is 2.19%. My minimum payment is $456.85, and it is my first priority debt right now. It has a lower interest rate than my student loans. It's a smaller balance than my student loans, but I'm not doing avalanche method with regards to debt right now, and the reason is very specific. I feel like a car loan is going to more negatively impact my ability to get a mortgage than my student loan will, and that's why I'm focusing on paying off my car. If we come down to the extra debt payment section, you'll see that I actually did make 2 extra debt payments towards my car this month. The first was on November 10th for $378. The second was on November 24th for $454. So those 2 extra debt payments, along with my usual payment, added up to $1,288.85, which is pretty awesome. I'm really excited that I got to do that in the month of November. Now, if we come down here, I put car only because I realized I kind of messed up. When it talks about total debt balance, I should have included my student loans in that, and I forgot. So I figured all this out just with my car loan. So in October 2022, my car loan balance was $24,240.12. This month's was $22,537.23. Now, I think the other part of this that's confusing to me is when in the month is this total debt balance? Where is that? Is that in the beginning of the month before I make any payments? Is that at the end of the month after I make all my payments? I think I've decided it's going to be the balance at the end of the month after every payment, and that's what I included on here. That means that my debt progress was a little over $1,700 for my car, and that factors out to be 2.4%, which is really exciting. Now, overall debt progress, again, I kind of realized I was supposed to include my student loan in there. Now, this total here is not a real legitimate total from when I first got out of college and I started paying on my student loans. This total is actually from June or July 2022 when I purchased my vehicle. It's what I had left in my student loans at that point and my car loan. At this point, I've probably paid off somewhere between close to $15,000 in student loans, just prior to me using the Budget Mom, prior to the hold that's been on student loans for the last few years. And I'm just not including that because, to be totally honest, it's so long ago and my loan servicing company has changed, and I feel like getting that data, that information, those numbers would be really challenging. So I'm just going to kind of start out with my total being what my student loans at the time were when I purchased my car in June 2022, and that's what that number is right there. Again, for this month, I confused myself. I needed to include student loan in that. I didn't, which is why I kind of gave up and didn't figure out the rest of this chart. Again, it's getting better, but it's not great. Next, we have my monthly net worth tracker. I did have a goal in 2022 of figuring out my net worth every single month. I did really good with that, except for July 2022. I didn't even close out my budget that month. I just didn't have the bandwidth, the energy to do that. For last month's net worth, October's net worth, it was $124,808.44. Now, I do cover up my assets. I don't mind sharing the total, and obviously there's a lot of other stuff in my budget that I don't mind sharing at all, but the specifics of my assets I'd like to keep to myself, so those are covered up. But the total for my assets in November 2022 is $200,495.04. So that's what's right down here. My liabilities, I'm very honest and open about them. My student loan balance at the end of November was $43,637.56. My Honda CRV, which is my new vehicle, is $22,537.23. That means my liabilities added together are $66,174.79. And that's actually the value that should have gone on that debt sheet. Now, for your total net worth, what you want to do is you want to take your total assets and you want to subtract your liabilities from them. And for me, in the month of November, that means my total net worth is $134,320.25. That means I had an increase in my net worth of $9,511.81 from last month, and that is a 7.6% change and percent increase from last month, which is really exciting. Now we're going to get into the Where Did My Money Go worksheets. These are, and specifically this one right here, are my favorite when closing out my budget. I love this sheet so much. This is the monthly budget category breakdown. I love that it gives me a big, huge overview of everything in my budget. It's just, for me, it's like the most valuable sheet that I do every month. So starting out in the income section, we had a starting balance going into the month of November of $1,372.20. My earned income is what I make at my full-time job. And that for the month of November was $6,009.88. Other income is where I include anything I make from Etsy, Instagram, YouTube, anything that I'm repaid for, like I purchased something online and my mom paid me back. I go out to eat and I pay for the bill, but somebody Venmos me. And then if I were to purchase and then return anything that returned from the store, and there was a lot of that in the month of November. A big part of that was I did go on vacation at the end of October into November. I have a Discover credit card, and in the month of October and November, if you used your Discover card in your digital wallet, it gave you 5% cash back. And so while we were on vacation, what we did is we literally just tapped. We just kept tapping. We went to Disney. You can tap everywhere in Disney. So we just kept tapping for every purchase. And then my mom and my sister paid me back, basically. So about $1,600 of this $1,987.50 is from that. That's also going to, you'll see that somewhere else in my budget. And then the rest of it is that I did get a YouTube payment. I did make a little money through Instagram, and I didn't really make a lot through Etsy, maybe a little under $5. So all of that is factored into here. And then savings use is exactly what it sounds like. It's anything I used from my sinking funds. So for the month of November, that was $201. Everything added up together does equal $9,570.58. Going into the category breakdown, there's kind of almost equal parts green and red on this page. So some things I was under budget, some things I was over budget. I think overall I did pretty good this month, and we'll get into the details of why I'm not super upset about a lot of this red. So for groceries, I only spent $242.17 on groceries this month. There was the first week in November where I was away on vacation, so that's definitely, probably factoring into that, but I was almost $160 under budget. Eating out, this was awesome. $22. I spent $22 on eating out in the month of November. Now, I am not factoring out eating out on vacation into that. That's coming from my vacation budget, not at all from anything else. So that is not factored into this $22. This is for the other 3 weeks of the month, and I only spent $22, which is exciting. I was under budget by $128. Gas, I only spent $24 on gas in the month of November. Again, I do think part of that is because for the first week of the month, I did not drive. I was away on vacation, so under budget by $126. Miscellaneous. I was a little bit over budget, but I'm kind of okay with that. There was some stuff that I purchased on Black Friday that did come out of here. And so I ended up spending $429.12. I was over budget by $129.12. Miscellaneous bills. This total is big. $1,806.48, but $1,605 of that is vacation spending. It's just me paying off my Discover card. Spending money while I was on vacation, my mom, my sister spending money while we were on vacation, just tapping my card to get that 5% cash back. And then I paid my Discover, but they did pay me back over here in other income. So really, apart from the $1,605, which is a combination of my mom and my sister paying me back, it's only $200 in miscellaneous spending that I'm actually responsible for. So very happy about that. Savings. I always have a goal of saving $3,000, so about half of my income. I saved $3,625.28 in the month of November, so I'm more than happy to be over budget in this category by $625. Utilities, a little under budget this month. I think this was kind of a weird month in terms of my cell phone bill. So I kind of have been going through some weird things with my cell phone bill. It went up randomly. I called, inquired about it. Basically, I ended up getting put on a different plan that was going to lower my bill back to what it kind of used to be before they increased it. But then in the month of November, for some reason, it was kind of lower, way lower than expected. So this I shouldn't say way lower, but this $1,272, I think, is just from that cell phone bill being lower than expected. So I did spend $337.28. Housing is just my rent, $600, right on the money with that one. Giving is a little bit of an unfortunate situation, and I think I did comment on this in one of my my budget with me's for December 2022. Basically, I've had a giving initiative in 2022. Every month, I want to donate $100 to a charity. A lot of the time, I did put a poll up on my community tab here on YouTube, as well as on my stories on Instagram, and basically had a poll where everybody got to vote on what charity they wanted me to donate to. For the month of November, that's what I did. I had something on my community tab. I had a poll on my Instagram. All the charities were to support Native American organizations because November is Native American Heritage Month in the United States. And then I forgot to make the donation. So that's why here you're going to see giving is only $20. That's my usual church contribution every month. So I was under budget by $100. I couldn't believe I did that, and I realized I did that when I got paid with my first paycheck in December, because I was pulling out my $100 to donate for December from that paycheck. And for some reason that made me go back and look at November, and I realized I never made the donation. So I did mention in one of my Budget With Me's for December that I ended up donating $200 in the month of December to the Native American Heritage Association. I just felt so terrible about forgetting in November. And I thought, you know what, why not have my donation for November and December go to the Native American Heritage Association. For debt, we've kind of already talked about this, but I budget $460, just a couple dollars over what my usual car payment is. I did make a couple extra car payments, so my total that I put to debt was $1,288.85, which was over budget by over $800. Not sad about that whatsoever. And then a lot of these here that are in the red are just sinking funds that I took money from this month. And I never quite budget for that. I have the money, I know I have the money, but I don't budget out of my paycheck for it. So that's why these are in the red. Subscriptions, $85.07, which was for my Disney Plus. Medical sinking fund, $17. Christmas sinking fund, $89. Now, if I add all of these together, it's not going to equal my total unless I include my December starting balance. That's a really key thing. Basically, the Budget Mom's budgeting method is a zero-based budgeting method. Every dollar you have coming in should have a plan, and it should equal every dollar going out. Because I roll money over from month to month with the way my paychecks fall, if I don't include what's sitting in my bank account, in my variable expense bank account, in cash, at the end of the month that I'm rolling over into December, if I don't include that here, it's going to throw things off. So in my checking account, my variable expense checking account in cash, on the last day of November, I had $983.33 that I was rolling over into December. So I put that down here. And then if I add everything together, we're going to get my total, $9,569.58, which is only $1 off from my total monthly inflow. I was off by $1. I'm okay with being off by $1. I did not go back and look for it. Here we get into the second of the Where Did My Money Go worksheets. This is your monthly debt and savings breakdown. For me right now, I get a lot more out of the savings side than the debt side because I'm only paying off one debt actively right now, which is my car. So on the debt side, we have our total monthly inflow, which was $9,570.58. My monthly debt payoff total, which was $1,288.85. That was 13.5% of my inflow. And all of that cash actually went to my Sikorsky. That was the only debt I paid towards this month. Now on the savings side of things, it's not inflow, it's income. The reason being is that the Budget Mom doesn't think that you should factor in savings used, which is a part of inflow, when you're figuring out the amount of money you saved for that month and how it compares to what you brought in. So, and I get that. I think that makes a lot of sense. So instead of inflow, we have income, and my total monthly income was $9,369.58. My monthly savings was $3,625.28. That means that I saved 38.7% of my income in the month of November, which I'm happy with. If we look at the breakdown, though, this definitely gives me a lot more details on where that money went. And I think that's really important because you want to make sure that, yeah, you're saving a good amount of money, but did you actually put that money towards the goals that are really a priority for you? And I would say for me right now that I've paid off, now that I'm not overly contributing to my travel sinking fund, my main priorities are paying off my car and saving for a house. Now, paying off my car, that's factored into debt. So when it comes to savings, my house is my number one priority. And as you can see here, my house savings did get the bulk majority of what I saved in the month of November. I put over $2,200 towards my house savings, which was 60.7% of what I saved. My next highest was my sinking funds. I saved $630 towards them, 17.4% of what I've saved. And then as it goes down the list, next was my 52-week challenge, 2022 savings challenge, side hustle, which is kind of a newer one. I didn't quite know where to put it. I didn't know if I should include it in sinking funds or not, but this was money that I brought in from Instagram and YouTube in the month of November. And then it kind of goes on from there. Lastly, we have the monthly spending comparison. Now, I do make an effort to do this sheet. Sometimes I do it better than other months, but I do think that this sheet is really good when it comes to looking at making small improvements from month to month on your budget. I think that it kind of gets a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of comparing month to month. And if you're really trying to make an improvement from one month to the next, I think that's important. It does all start out with your monthly inflow change, right? So in the month of November, I brought in $1,419.75 more than in the month of October. A big part of that is that $1,605 that my mom and my sister paid me back for vacation spending. So just having that in mind, I think, is important. When it comes to looking at October versus November, I would say for me, a lot of times it's miscellaneous spending, miscellaneous bills spending that I'm really focusing on. And you can see here that miscellaneous spending, I did a great month in October. I was under budget, but I was over budget in the month of November. So that is something that I kind of want to key in on for December. With regards to miscellaneous bills, it does look like I was over by about $30 when compared to October, but we have to remember $1,605 of that was me being paid back for spending that my mom and my sister did on vacation. So technically, my personal miscellaneous bills for the month of November was only about $200. So I'm really, really happy about that, even though it's not reflected here. I did save a lot more, which I'm really happy about. I saved almost $2,000 more this month than I did in November. I put more towards debt, $800 more towards debt, which I'm really happy about. So I think overall, even though there is a decent amount of red on here, a lot of that red I'm okay with, I'm happy with. It's reflecting positive things. And that is going to be it for my November monthly budget recap. I'm just trying to find the cover of my Budget by Paycheck workbook. I hope you all enjoyed kind of going through this monthly budget with me. I think, again, overall, the month of November was not terrible. I was under budget in a lot of different categories, over budget in some, but I'm kind of okay with most of them. I'm really looking forward to December 2022 and seeing how I can close off the year. If you have any questions or comments about how I budget or how I use the Budget by Paycheck workbook, please don't hesitate to put them down below. And as always, everyone, please be safe. Bye-bye.